Mr. Murphy, I see that you're in your car. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
We're having a little bit of problem with Ron Bean. Mr. Simpkins, you're at your desk. Could I ask you to convene the meeting, please? While we're trying to struggle because we're on Zoom.
Oh,
Good
it's a
evening,
connectivity
everyone.
issue. Good evening.
Good evening. Let us now convene the Southland College Prep Board. We're now convened.
Thank you, Mr. Simpkins, and we're waiting the arrival of our board president. For the record, I'd simply like to say that I am the chief executive officer and I'm physically in the boardroom. The location of the board of directors meeting and members are welcome to attend and the audience at this location. In addition, the meeting will be available at www.scph.org. Members of the public who do not attend the meeting in person may submit comments in writing or questions by Monday, January 24th at noon. And so could we ask our secretary for a roll call?
Mr. Bean, Mr. Murphy,
Present.
Dr. Davis,
Present.
Dr. Hall,
Here. Present.
Dr. Meyer,
Here.
Mr. Simpkins.
Here.
Mr. Simpkins, if we could go on then.
Yes, if we could have audience to visitors.
But we have one person that's not on the board and does not work for us. And so I'd ask Mr. Jeffrey Johnson if he would like to make a comment, please.
Invitation. Looking forward to hearing the processes of the meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Welcome to the board. And as you see, we like to keep it moving, whether somebody shows up or not. That's the efficiency that we like to keep here, with all of these nice people on the board. At this time, we will ask for discussion actions in regards to approval of the revised Southland wellness policy.
So moved.
Second.
It's been second and moved. Discussion.
Yes, Mr. Simpkins. Actually, this is probably the most comprehensive rewrite of our wellness policy that we've done in some time. And we did seek the input of parents, a few students, administration, but the biggest difference is that you will see an entire section on physical activity, on health, on diet, on healthy eating. This is really more of a tool that can be used by parents and students and in our health classes. That's the way the policy is written. But in addition to that, it notes the change in the food that we're serving. At this point, everything is covered. We no longer fix anything in our kitchen, even though we have the capacity to have a cooking kitchen.
Wow.
We eliminated our buffet salad bar because we know that COVID is airborne. And so that is also contained in the policy. It goes on to state that all of our water fountains are turned off and that bottled water is available to all Southland students. Just as a point of information, because I love trivia, 7,000 bottles a week, because if you've been in our building, you know we have those small bottles. What we learned very early on in the COVID experience is that generally speaking, good evening, Mr. Bean, how are you?
Good. I'm sorry I'm late. I had dialysis today and it kind of knocked me out a bit.
We
Well,
understand.
we understand.
Glad to
And
see
we're
you.
glad you're here now.
Okay.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, let me see if I can get this. Okay. I'll call to order this meeting of the Southland Board of Directors and ask the secretary, please call the roll.
We started already, Mr. Bean.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we're getting started until you were able to log in.
Okay,
But certainly, Dr. Davis and myself and the rest of the board members, we will yield to your presence. We're on item 2, and Dr. Davis is in the middle of discussing the wellness policy, and she's concluding that. And we'll wait until she's done, and then we certainly look forward to you
Okay.
taking the meeting over.
okay,
Item 3.
thank you.
I was discussing the change from the large bottles of water. We also thought about bottles with that the students might fill up in the water fountain. We experimented with that, and we found out that they are tempted to share with each other, and that's absolutely not what we want. And so therefore, we went back to individual bottles of water. Beside each water fountain, you will see cases of water that sits there, and they're refreshed throughout the day. I'm quite sure that this is not good for our environment, because we're throwing away thousands and thousands of plastic bottles, but it is the safest way that we thought that we could function. But the most significant thing that is discussed in our plan really is the unused food sharing plan. You're well aware that over the years, we throw away really more food every day than the children eat. But we were never permitted to give the food to anyone because it was against federal regulations, and we were never permitted to share. Now, the free and reduced lunch program has been put to the side, I assume, for the time being. And so all students, regardless of their economic standing, welcome to eat as much as they would like, as many times as they would like. But there is always food left over every day, and we're not permitted to save that or to reuse it. It's always been against health regulations. That has nothing to do with COVID. So what we're doing now, and once we announce this on the 162 side, we're already beginning to see community members and other parents that are coming to our schools, and we're giving them boxes of food. We distribute milk, etc. And sometimes we operate as a small warming center. Last week, there was a mother with 2 little tiny children. These are not Southland children. They were probably 2 or 3 years of age. And so they were not properly dressed. Our lunchroom manager invited them in. They had cereal and milk, but really what we were doing was to make sure that they were warm, because when security looked outside, they saw that they were walking. So I am 100% in favor of reaching out to the community, and the community reaching back to us. And we actually should share. We have an obligation, both morally and in all other ways, to be available to those in need. And so that is the essence of the wellness policy. I would say that of all the wellness policies, all the policies we've developed, this one is more comprehensive in that it does discuss health and safety. It discusses fitness, but this outreach to the community, I think, is really the most significant thing. And because Southland is our district office, we're open 7 days a week. And so frequently, security also may be sharing something. But let me just say something about security that's not included here. Not often, but periodically, a small child will wander in our parking lot. Security, because we have cameras that are on the perimeter of the building, if they see any unaccompanied children that are out there alone, then they assess the situation. They automatically call the police, because these are probably children that are unsupervised and they're in need of support. And so I'm really very happy about the caring that these police officers, remember, they're all sworn officers. They just happen to be with us, that we pay them on an off-duty basis, or some of them are retired. But their caring attitudes, I think, should be noted in the minutes of the board. And that concludes my discussion, Mr. Bean.
Okay, thank you, Madam Superintendent. Are there any questions on her discussion of the wellness party?
I
Yes.
do have a question, and that is, it is very well, a comment first, very well written. I even learned some things myself about it. So I will take up some of those notions. I really like that. Going from one big bag of French fries to one small one, because that is my middle name. I'm so sorry to say. I love them so much.
McDonald's fries, right?
Yeah, but how will this information be distributed to our students and community?
Well, first of all, it will be posted on our website, but
Okay,
our students are already very much aware of this. Even before the passage of the policy, when we came back to school in August, if we have a day when we close early, you'll see the lunchroom staff down there with bags of food. If the students want to take food home, there's food available throughout the building. They're well aware that the kitchen exists really for them. And we've gone back to something that we have not done in some time. And that is, before we go into our afternoon program, we have healthy snacks. And so it's important that we know that no one here, regardless of their age, is hungry, and that they know that we provide substance with dignity. And that's what I like. I don't think we should make people feel ashamed, nor should we expect any thanks for what it is that we do. And so I've been pleased with the lunchroom staff, but also pleased with the response of everyone as we go through this. But it is an offshoot from COVID. You know that there are food pantries, but to me, the stability of the community has always been, please excuse this, but always been the church and the school, the church and the school. And that's the way that I felt my entire life. And I feel that we have an obligation to have outreach. And so, well done, well done. But
well done.
Mr. Bean, I don't know if the board, if you have the votes on the board, but this would be our wish.
Has this matter been moved and seconded?
Yes, it has.
Yes,
Okay, good. If there's no further discussion, I would ask the secretary to call the roll.
Mr. Bean,
Aye.
Mr. Murphy,
Aye.
Dr. Davis,
Aye.
Dr. Hall,
yes,
Dr. Meyer,
aye,
Mr. Simpkins.
Aye.
Did you call Mr. Johnson?
Well, he's on the 162 board. He's visiting us,
Okay, okay, all right, all right. Okay, all right.
but we're happy to have him.
He's
Okay,
in training.
Yes.
okay, thank you. The next item is a series of personnel items listed as items 2A through 2A,
2D,
2D. I ask for a motion, please, to approve the personnel items 2A through 2D.
So move.
Moved by Mr. Simpkins,
second,
Second.
seconded by Dr. Meyer. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Mr. President, we have a math teacher who is extremely ill, and we don't expect him to be able to return to us. So when you see the Dr. Robin Jackson, Mr. Wells, and Mrs. Adamczyk are picking up additional classes, that is the reason that they're doing that. We were very hopeful that he would recover. Now that we see that it doesn't appear to be the case, then we will hire a permanent teacher. But they have picked up the class, but we have not been so fortunate as to welcome him back.
Okay, this is Mr. Wales that's ill.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Mr. Wells is teaching
okay.
2 classes, Adamczyk, Dr. Robin Jackson, etc. But they're doing this. I just think it's inappropriate to mention the teacher's name that is
Okay,
ill, but they're picking these classes up for him.
Okay, all right, fine, thank
or
you.
her, as it may be.
Okay, or her.
For them.
Oh, no, thank you. Get those pronouns straight.
Yeah, get them straight.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bean,
Aye.
Mr. Murphy,
Aye.
Dr. Davis,
Aye.
Dr. Hall,
Yes, yes.
Dr. Meyer,
Aye.
Mr. Simpkins.
Aye.
Okay, the matter has been adopted. The next item is item 3A and 3B. Minutes of the prior meeting of November 15, 2021, and executive session minutes. A motion to have executive session minutes remain closed. Have a motion, please approve item 3A and 3B.
So moved.
So moved. So, second.
Okay, it's been moved by Mr. Simpkins, seconded by Dr. Meyer. Any discussion?
I think that's
Just-
Murphy.
Yes.
It was first moved by Murphy, Mr. Bean.
I'm sorry. Moved by Mr. Murphy, and seconded by Dr. Meyer. If there's no further discussion, roll call, please.
Mr. Bean,
Aye.
Mr. Murphy,
Aye.
Dr. Davis,
Aye.
Dr. Hall,
Aye.
Dr. Meyer,
Aye.
Mr. Simpkins.
Aye.
The matter has been adopted. The next is a report from the Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Davis.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to acknowledge that I'm actually not in the room alone. The presence of our attorney, Robert Hall, our director, Dr. Corey Levy, Fine Arts, Dr. Carl Cougar, test adjudication, but really speech, Mrs. Frazier, and of course, Mr. Robert Lane, alumni director. They're just quiet. I think they need vitamins, but that's okay. I do see Morgan Waller there, and I'm hoping that she has Commissioner Donna Miller with her from the 6th District. Good
Hi.
evening. Hi.
Hi, everyone. I'm sorry I'm a little late. Yes, Commissioner Miller, she said she'll be jumping on in 5 minutes. So if it's okay, if we could either proceed until she gets on or,
No, I'll come back to her then.
but okay, okay.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Okay.
Thank you.
If I could, Mr. Lights, I'd like to do the COVID update. Okay, we have been extremely fortunate. First of all, thank you to all board members because you did approve the motion to purchase additional test kits. We began on the 12th of January to test our, well, everyone in the family, 3,500 people. When I thought about that in the beginning, I thought it was not going to be a doable task. It is definitely doable because of the cooperation of our parents. And so this is, we did our second test on January 24th. And if you look at Southland, then you will see not tested, which means not in attendance, 46 students, only 3 tested positive, 518 were negative. And if you look at the staff, everyone tested. And I do want to acknowledge the 162 staff as well as the Southland. In some places, there are indications that staff are unhappy, they don't want to cooperate. We have 100% cooperation. But from the Southland staff specifically, we had 3 positive cases. And if we can move up just a little bit, please. Looking at Southland, 1 return and the others will return on the 27th. A change in what our past procedures. You're well aware that the CDC indicated initially that anyone who tested positive was to be out for 10 days and then they would be able to return. The CDC then changed their position and changed to 5 days. When we looked at this, we were not totally comfortable because 5 days we felt might result in someone returning with something that was contagious. I don't have a lot of faith in 5 days. And so when we discussed this with Dr. Richard Watson, who you know is assisting us, we modified this. And so you can return in 5 days if you have tested negative. And so that is what the change that we made. You can look at the other results. If you look at the family as a whole, and I'm shocked at this, 27 positive reports. These are students. 2,785 students were tested, and we're a little bit under 2% positivity. This is certainly not what I expected. I was warned that if we tested everyone, we probably were going to be somewhere between 18 and 25% positive. I thought that was high, but certainly I did not think we would be at 2%. But what we're looking at now is testing every 2 weeks, as long as we have the materials to do so. As you're well aware from the email from our CFO, tests are becoming difficult to acquire. But we are prepared for the next month. And so our next testing cycle will begin on January 28th, and we will follow the same procedure. Mr. Lyson has designed a Google Docs upload. And another compliment to our parents. Do you know that 2 years ago, if we ask our parents to do something like that, I'm not sure that parents or teachers would be able to do it. Now, with the exception of a very few, we're able to have parents to go on. They understand what it is that they're supposed to do. And if there is a lack of understanding, then they bring their children into the building. And as you know, we have an RN in all of our buildings. And so the RN is more than happy to assist you or to retest your child. But to have 27 positives out of 2,785, I think is, it's magnificent. But what we're going to be able to do, Mr. President, is something that we've never been able to do before, and that's compare data that is unique to us. So we know that we're about 1.9% from the first testing. We were 2% from the second. So we're going to be able to look at this week after week after week as we progress. You know from the news that supposedly this virus is waning. I don't know that. And so what we will do is to continue to keep everyone who is tested positive outside of our environment. And we will test consistently every 2 weeks. Any questions or comments just about the testing protocol?
Mr. Bean, I have a
Yes.
question.
Go ahead.
Dr. Davis, I like what we're doing. This is awesome. It's great. But at this point, do you see that we're able to sustain it at this level with the supplies necessary and being able to have access to the testing material?
I believe, and I don't know with certainty, but I believe that we'll be prepared. Certainly, we're prepared to take this through March, and I'm hopeful that by that time we might see some change in our environment. But this is making our teachers feel a lot more confident, a lot more comfortable with the students and with each other, simply because they realize that you're in as much as we can make it, a negative COVID environment. So I'm hopeful that we can do that, but we are good at this point all the way through March, and we're aggressively trying to acquire more materials. And so I think it's well worth the effort, and it is not the burden on staff that I anticipated it being. But in terms of COVID, as I told you, the next cycle begins this Friday, which is January 28th. On the 4th of February, we will offer another COVID clinic, giving boosters and shots to the children and actually to the community. We never ask anyone where they're from. They're welcome to come in. And then every Wednesday here at the district office from 10 until 2, we have nurses who are here. They give antibody tests, booster shots, COVID tests, et cetera. And they're here to make absolutely certain. Let's say, for example, this past time, there were 2 teachers who did not feel well. They came downstairs, they were tested. And we simply, I think it's a wonderful thing in that Dr. Watson has bonded with us. When our commissioner joins us, I have some comments for her, because she was the person that introduced us to Dr. Watson, and he started out giving flu shots, but we have expanded, and I don't know where we would be, because if we have a question about whether or not someone should take a shot or about symptoms, we have only to call him or text him, and he always responds. In addition to that, periodically, he does make visits to the building, certainly on Saturdays when we have the smaller children here. And it's interesting to see their response to him, which is very positive. Okay, the lottery and the lottery in COVID, and the date of our lottery to choose the class that will come in August of 2022 is on March 16th. And so at this point, we have 156 applications for the next class. And so we know that there will be a formal lottery. We intend to take 115 students, because we'll be graduating 115, and 10 on the waiting list for a total of 125 in the building. But I would like to welcome Commissioner Donna Miller of the 6th District. She's a very special person to us. I know you're coming on a mission, Commissioner Miller, but I wanted to personally thank you. You were the person that introduced us to Dr. Richard Watson. I don't think that you knew at the time, 2 years ago, how significant he was going to be to our lives. But here's the reason that we're doing 3,500 COVID tests twice a month. He's the reason, and he gives us the staff for our clinics on Wednesday. As I shared with the board, he gives us his advice and counsel, and he's kind of adopted us because he really knows that we're trying to do the best we can. But we would not have known of his existence if it wasn't for you. So for that reason, and for many others, thank you on behalf of all the children.
Oh, thank you so much. I truly appreciate that. Yes, Dr. Watson is just a trailblazer. I don't think he knew how far ahead of his time he was when he started all of this. And he's made a significant difference, not just for you, which I'm glad you all have taken him. And you were, Dr. Davis, I mean, congratulations to you for being so adamant about getting your staff tested. You were the first school district we heard from in my district, and making it important. You knew exactly who, when they needed to be tested, and you were ahead of the curve, which is making a huge difference even right now for your students and your faculty. So congratulations on that. And it makes a big difference on what's happening in the surrounding community. Some of our communities in the south suburbs have not been doing as well with not only testing, but with the vaccination rates. But the ones that touch your school district are doing much better than others, and especially with the kids. And when the parents get vaccinated, in turn, the kids will get vaccinated. So they already had the example from their parents being vaccinated, where we're still lagging far behind in some other communities. And we're still seeing the devastating effects of what that's going to mean in those communities on every level, from school, economy, and then health. You know, the health of that community is going to have long-lasting, devastating effects. But thank you for that. I appreciate that. And it's great to be here with all of you tonight. So thank you for having me in your meeting. I appreciate being here. I was unable to meet the celebration for Ms. Frazier when she was presented a resolution. And so I just wanted to come and extend my personal congratulations for the work that she's doing with her students and putting Southland College Prep on the map on a national level as well as state level. State level was good. The national level is even better. So that's fantastic. And I always brag about the students that I've seen from Southland Prep and how amazing they are, and especially the ones who are in this speech competition. And so I just wanted to say congratulations to Ms. Frazier, to her students, and I appreciate Morgan, who was on my staff. She was there that day, and she was also just blown away and impressed by all the work that you do. So we do have the formal resolution for her that I can bring by or have it brought by to the school. But I just wanted to come on and personally congratulate her at the next meeting. And thank you all for being such a beacon of light for all communities, but especially our kids who can do so much. And they're able to excel because of all the work that you put into them and all the resources that they have that come directly from the hard work that you do. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner. But Mrs. Frazier is here. So we would ask her if she would step up and give a response. So she's listening. She's.
Oh.
Hello, Commissioner Miller. Thank you so much again for, I was overwhelmed at the celebration. I was totally shocked. I was bamboozled. I was given a little taste of my own medicine in terms of Mrs. Yvonne Williams did a fabulous acting job, telling me that I was there to do something else. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, well, this doesn't seem like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And so I was totally surprised and overwhelmed when I was given the award. So I always, again, have to thank Dr. Davis, because quite frankly, without her passion, she has a passion for fine arts. And without her passion for fine arts, we would not be able to do what we've been able to do the last 10 years. She has always been supportive of the speech team, always been supportive of our students and supportive of the stories that we tell. It's all about giving back to the community, especially our students, by encouraging them and making sure that they know their history so that they can tell their story. Because I always say, if you don't tell your story, who else will? Nobody.
That's right.
Okay. You don't know your story any better. You're the only one that knows your story. And so I feel like I always felt it's been our responsibility to make sure our students know where they come from, that they are kings and queens, and that it is then their responsibility to play it forward. So again, Dr. Davis, thank you so much for always giving us that opportunity, that support, so that they feel that they are important enough to tell their story. And someday they'll be in our shoes. Absolutely. And they'll be teaching their children the history and how important it is to keep telling their stories. So again, thank you again so much for the honor, but it's all about, for me, it's all about making sure our kids know where they come from and making sure that they know that they are royalty.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Congratulations Congratulations again. I can't wait to see what this year's students are going to do in the competitions. I'm sure they're going to be right up there.
Well,
Thank you.
we've got freshman and sophomore babies, but they are, walking in the footsteps of their senior competitors from last year, and so I know that they will make them proud. So again, thank you very much again for the honor. I really do
Thank-
appreciate it.
Thank
You're
you.
Thank you.
Thank you again for all you do.
Well, actually, speech is the only sport that we're participating in. I know that the young men on the basketball team are not happy with me because we're taking a, no, they're not. I see their emails. We're taking a pause. We're playing intramural basketball, and that's fine because everyone here has been tested. But we went out and participated in 4 competitions. We came back with 3 coaches that had COVID and 6 students. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. So at some point, we may look at this and be ready to go back. But right now, I think there could be some wonderful competitions. I don't know that much about basketball, but Eric is here, maybe 3-point shooters or what, best at Southland, best at something, but we simply can't do that. It was a disastrous effect on us, but IHSA speech, we're out there, mock trial, we're there. Okay, so that's what we're emphasizing. We are looking forward to track. I think outdoor track will be good for the students. I think that'll be a wonderful thing. But I know that, and you know this because most of your parents, they've told me, but Dr. Davis, everybody is. And I said, well, we're not playing basketball right this moment because the way that I look at it, it's simply not worth it for one child. But we all 3 coaches were positive. And Dr. Watson did outline some ways in which we could play safely, but that involves cleaning the basketball after every play. That involves them remasking on the bench. That involves sanitation on the other end. We can't control anything other than our own environment. So you guys will have to protect me because I'm not the most popular person in the building with the basketball team. So we will see. But looking at our calendar, on February 7th, we have our annual Illinois State Board of Education audit. This year, well, for the past 2 years, they have not come in person. This will be a virtual audit. And we are getting together parent teams. Oh, I see someone that volunteered to be on the parent team, Mr. Jeffrey Johnson. So they will interview parents, students. Oh, Kevin Murphy, that's another hand up. How about that? So this is a wonderful thing. So it will be here in the boardroom and they will be wherever they are. I don't know if they're at the state board or whatever, but and then we will upload any written materials that they want, but they will be interviewing parents, teachers. They will be using our technology to go into classrooms and to listen to what's going on. So we welcome their visit on February 7th. Golden Apple Day. You know that last year we did not have a formal Golden Apple presentation because of COVID, and I felt very bad about that. So this year we are having a formal presentation on February 8th. Golden Apple, you may say, what is that? These students have straight A's for a semester, straight A's. It's wonderful, and they deserved something. Generally, we would go to the Madison Holiday Inn for a luncheon. That's really not possible this year, but we have this wonderful field house. We will honor 72 students from all four grade levels with the Golden Apple Award. Commissioner Miller, we're actually looking, and since you stay there, we're looking for speakers. I don't know, maybe, you never know when she might, you see, we just volunteer here, we're just spontaneous. So that will be on February 8th at 1 o'clock, and we never know who may be our speaker. And then February 10th at 1 o'clock are the CEO scholars. Believe it or not, we have 110 students that are 4.0 and above, 4.0 and above. Now, the only negative that we have is our parents will be streaming. They will not be physically in the facility because that would take our numbers up to 300. And it just is not possible at this point, but we're going to do everything that we can to give just a wonderful, wonderful celebration. They deserve it. So February 8th at 1 o'clock and February 10th. And we know that our commissioner is looking at her schedule now, and she may give us a response back. You don't know. On February 26th, we have our virtual Black History program, and all of our divisions are performing. But we just feel at this time it's best that everyone watch it from home. I will be here with a small group of people, but we've done virtual presentations before, and so we know it's going to be just a wonderful, wonderful event. But really what defines us is where our students are academically, and we know that our goal is to send students to any college that they would like to go to fulfill their dreams, the dreams of their families, of the community. But that means that we have to be active in the application process, but we also have to be active in the process of providing experiences and in solicitation of scholarships. And so, Mr. Robert Lane, I have a seat for you right there, socially distanced from me. Mr. Lane is our Director of Alumni Relations and College Counselor. If you would like, you can be seated. It's up to you.
I can stand.
Okay.
It's okay. Hi, good evening, everyone. Can everyone hear me
Hey,
okay?
Mr. Lane.
Yeah, good evening.
Good. Good evening. Great to see the board. Happy New Year. This is the first time that we have a chance to engage since 2022. And thank you, Commissioner, for joining us today. I'm briefly just going to provide some updates at this point, midway through the year, that speak to, again, our student outcomes, and also just speak to some just recognitions and things that we've continued to build upon here at Southland in spite of the challenges that we've certainly faced this year. I think a lot of that speaks to what Ms. Frazier talked about. The leadership here with Dr. Davis is pretty much an unwavering system in which we have to continue to persist because our students' dreams, our families' dreams do not change in relation to the current situation. We have young people that are going to be our future, and they've been counting on us delivering them to their futures for the last 12 years. And I'm happy to say our students have really done a fine job. All right. I'm going to be really brief, but I did want to provide an update with respect to the class of 2022. We have 116 students, which is about the average group of seniors here at Southland. And just to share just some great bullet points, 90% of our entire senior class has already been accepted to a four-year institution. And we've been 100% every year since our inception. So we don't anticipate any change there. We're just happy that at this early juncture, we're at a really good point. We've had 6 students this year that were recognized by the College Board. The College Board has really worked to make sure that they recognize the excellence of students from underrepresented groups at traditional universities. This year, we have the highest number of students who've been recognized in that category. We actually have 6 seniors who are recognized nationally as African-American scholars by the College Board. This is something they certainly can put in their college applications and something they can demonstrate that they've really demonstrated excellence, not just in grades, but also performance on nationally normed assessments. This year, we have 4 Illinois State Scholars. That's something that we do every single year. Since our inception, we've always had students recognized as the top seniors in the state of Illinois. And for the 3rd year straight, also featured and showcased at the great celebration for Ms. Frazier, we have for the 3rd year in a row been recognized by the Illinois Network of Charter Schools to have one of the Illinois Seniors of the Year. I believe there's usually 3 or 4 recipients of this state distinction, and Lauren Russell was our recipient this year. In terms of that work, again, it's been a difficult year for our young people. As you know, our seniors, the last time they were in high school, I believe they were sophomores. And certainly this has been a very unusual time, but again, they were not going to be deterred. I'm happy to report that with just 116 students, we have over 2,500 college applications entered into our Naviance applicant platform. This means that they have essentially explored and identified 2,500 potential applications to complete. And at this juncture, midway through the year, we actually have over 1,000 college acceptances amongst the 116 students. So they've already got a multitude of options. At this juncture, we've amassed over $15 million in scholarships. And if you know anything about the college game, the real money is going to come in March and April. So we are well on our way to meeting the goals that we do every year, because the way that you have great college persistence and you have great outcomes is that you have sustainable financial options that students can go to college and focus on their academics and their personal growth. So we're already at $15 million. Finally, as the board is already aware, we actually did the hat trick 2 years in a row. We had 3 of our graduating seniors be the winner of the National Questbridge Scholarship competition. And that's where essentially they work with 44 participating schools around the nation to compete for a full 4-year college full ride. And this year, Miss Adissier is going to Brown. She was the first admitted student to Brown with a full ride scholarship. Miss Ellis will be joining the Midway down in Hyde Park at the University of Chicago. And Miss Davita Jones, a first generation college student, is going to be going to the all women's Scripps College as a part of the 5C consortium in Southern California. So we're off to a great start. Mr. Lice? Moving on, 3 really good things we're seeing just to, again, build the future for our school and partnerships. As we've shared with the board, we have a new partnership with California Polytechnic University. They're recognized as the #2 engineering school in the nation in 5 different disciplines as it pertains to schools that do not offer a doctorate in engineering. We have a new memorandum of understanding where they're going to award a full ride scholarship to 1 Southland student this year, at minimum 1. And I'm happy to report we have 7 candidates for this. We also have a partnership with the University of Dayton, one of the largest and strongest Catholic institutions in the nation. And they have invited 10 of our admitted students for a special program totally earmarked for Southland seniors in the spring. It's going to be all expenses paid, and they're going to be working to try to build a pipeline with Southland and the University of Dayton. And finally, we're working on special scholarship opportunities to the University of Oregon, one of the highest rapidly increasing schools in terms of national recognition and ranking. They're trying to really boast and build their out-of-state population off the West Coast, and they're really trying to work with Southland. So we have 8 students under consideration for special scholarship opportunities at the Ducks. So we're really building relationships in ways, even through COVID and the pandemic, to set our long-term future. From a programmatic recognition, I'm really happy to report a new distinction. Just last week, as I shared with Dr. Davis, I also serve as the AP coordinator here at Southland. We were actually recognized by the College Board for our commitment to expand access to computer science, specifically to underrepresented groups and women. This year is, I believe, our 2nd year in offering AP Computer Science. And this year, 15 of our 25 students are young women, led by Mr. Gagaman, a man that came in and worked with our technology department to basically create the AP Computer Science program from the ground up. in our second year, we actually were recognized by College Board with the 2021 AP CS Female Diversity Award. So we're really proud of that. And certainly, I'm sure Dr. Davis is too. All right, moving along. We always like to talk about our alumni, and I definitely wanted to recognize, I believe, the Mattison trustee. I believe that's Mr. Satchel. Mr. Satchel is featured right here. That's his daughter, Erica Satchel. She is one of our first Southland alumni, and she wanted me to share her picture because she is degreed and debt-free. Our alumni continue to check in with us here at Southland. One of the great things we're able to do, thanks to the leadership of Dr. Davis, is we have protected time to really build and maintain our relationship with our students to and through college. And so she is a proud graduate of Grinnell College, and she went on a 4-year ride. And I'm sure Mr. Satchel was very happy about that because she's not only graduated in 4 years, but she graduated debt-free. And she definitely attests her work here at Southland, entering the workforce with no debt. We always hear from our alumni, our students, Mrs. Simpkins crossing the burning sands. We had several alumni this fall that joined historical fraternities and sororities, and then they always come back and share with us here at Southland, and they inspire other students to follow suit. Next slide. Some other student distinctions, things that we really want the board to be aware of that our young people are doing, even before they're seniors. I'm happy to report that we have 2 young people who are actually named the area winners in the South Suburban region of the Voices of Democracy. It's a national essay competition sponsored by the VFW, Veterans of Foreign Wars, and the national winner every year is awarded a $30,000 scholarship. We actually have a freshman this year and a junior who both won the area competition, and they're going to be advancing to the district level. Both wrote exceptional essays on democracy in America, specifically in the post-Trump era. Next slide. We've got 2 juniors, 2 of our young men who've already been awarded full scholarships to Wake Forest. Wake Forest has extremely robust pre-collegiate summer programs, and both of these young men were awarded full ride scholarships. I think that's worth about $14,000 to participate in a 3-week in-person program at Wake Forest in North Carolina this summer, Wake Forest being the number 28 university in America. Our goal every year is that at least 80% of our rising seniors are participating in gainful summer involvement leading into their senior year. Not just, to pad or build their college applications, but get a greater sense of who they are, what their interests and their passions might be. Next slide. And finally, this is, again, breaking news. We are really, really excited because this is the first year of our first dual enrollment course here at Southland. We brought in a brilliant professor in Professor Edward Davis, a graduate of NYU and the University of California at Berkeley, who's also served and taught in several regions and several continents. And he brought to us through Loyola University, our dual enrollment course in African American anthropology. As a result of that, we were able to actually get some students involved into learning, as Ms. Frazier talks about, more about themselves and their story. And we had several students actually compete in a national literary arts competition sponsored by the Louisiana Museum of African American History. And this year's topic was the largest slave revolt in U.S. history, the Louisiana 1811 slave revolt. And I'm happy to report not only did we have students really find out more about their history and compete, but Southland students took first place, second place, and third place in the competition for literary arts. So all 3 of these young people who are juniors have won a cash prize. And best of all, I believe their work is going to be featured and showcased at the museum in New Orleans. So we're doing pretty good, midway through the year. Certainly the real fireworks in terms of college acceptances and the scholarship totals are going to be, I think, they're going to be incredible. I think we may break records in terms of actual college acceptances this year because our seniors have been extremely diligent. But as you know, turn to the slide, Mr. Lights, we always keep unlimited potential and unlimited possibilities. So thank you for allowing me to share a quick mid-year update, and I'll be happy to take any questions.
Just a comment, as usual, I thank you. Thank you to Dr. Davis. Thank you to her staff. This is amazing, just amazing.
Absolutely amazing.
I think Mr. Johnson asked for, Mr. Johnson, how are you? Eric, please, you're muted.
Yep, something's wrong with his microphone, Mr. Johnson. We can see you talking, but we can't hear you, and you're not muted, so.
I think he's going to write us a note.
Yeah, you can put it in the
You
chat.
can put in the chat.
Sure.
Okay, all right. That concludes our presentation. Are there any
Any
comments,
Great
Just,
job.
suggestions? What I'd like to think about is our students, obviously they're aware they're in a COVID environment, but they remain determined. They remain optimistic. And so therefore, I believe that their parents are hopeful about what they will achieve in their future. That's what we concentrate on every day. So thank you so much. That concludes my presentation, Mr. Bean.
okay, thank you. Are there any questions for the superintendent? I just want to say that every time that I hear a presentation by Mr. Lane, I am just astonished by the accomplishments that he is making on behalf of Southland students and putting the college prep school on the national map. It's just amazing what he is accomplishing on our behalf and on behalf of the students.
Mr. Bean, Mr. Johnson's question rather, is are the students receiving dual credit? Mr. Johnson, is that correct? Yes. From my alma mater, Loyola University, yes, we are. And
Talk
on
about
another
getting
note, we really would like to expand our dual credit program, but Loyola requires that the master's degree be in the same area as the teaching subject. And so there's probably not a degree that Professor Davis does not have. And when he came to us, I thought, my goodness gracious, but and having taught in Ghana and here and there, but we're looking at that. The only other area, because most of our teachers have master's degrees, but it's in educational leadership. It's not in their teaching subject area. The only exception to that are the Spanish instructors, but Loyola is struggling with recognizing their degrees from countries outside of the United States. But we do want to expand this next year with dual credit in more than one subject area.
Okay. Are there any further questions for the Chief Executive Officer? And thank you for board members for your attention. And as we conclude our meeting, I just say to you again, be safe and take care of yourself. And Happy New Year.
Likewise.
Likewise.
Thank you.
Great meeting. Great job, Dr. Davis.
Okay.
Very, very good.
And thank you, Commissioner Miller.
Thank you,
for coming.
Thank you, Commissioner Miller.
Thank
Coming
you,
to us.
Commissioner.
Yes, thank you.
Always inspiring to hear what's going on here. So thank you for having me.
And of course, you've been volunteered to be a speaker, right?
Yes,
did
yeah.
so I have to check out my schedule. And what is that meeting in person or is it virtual? I didn't.
You
I
can
wasn't-
do either. So there's absolutely no reason for you not to participate. You can do either. We're flexible.
I'm on board as long as it's virtual because we have our board meeting that day. So yeah, but I can make it. Thank you for the invitation.
All
I'm
right,
so,
we'll talk.
okay,
thank you.
bye-bye.
Good night.
Good
Okay,
night,
Good
everyone.
night.
good night.
Good night.